Yeah, that's my beat.
That's your beat.
Give me hype. That's what Kirk make love to.
All right, that's it. We're live, people. We are live. Okay. This is another episode of the Star Trek Discovery discussion. I want to call this one "SARU Goes Rogue," but I can't call it that. The episode is titled. No, he did. What do you think?
Oh, that's a good title. Whoa! Anthony's showing his face.
Oh, I got clothes on. I got clothes on right now. So
I forgot.
It's a special episode.
yeah, I like the
episode.
podcast naked usually.
Okay.
Hey, when you're driving.
YouTube rules don't allow that.
The episode.
All right, bye-bye.
You know why that cop almost pulled you over?
Right. Last week, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. The episode is actually titled Vis Pacem Bellum. Yeah, that's about as far as I got. It's Latin and it actually translates to if you're looking for peace, get ready for war. Some of the sorts.
Yeah. That's a shame.
Which
that's real sad.
It's real sad because it's real true.
and it really does tie, and it actually ties into the episode. Because last week I had a problem with the title because Star Trek so far has tied in every episode to the title somehow, and last week to me it just didn't seem to tie in. But anyways, Patrick, any controversies? Anything we missed? Do you want to talk about?
Any controversy? Well, we're gonna talk about Vogue, right?
No, we haven't talked about Vogue.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there were any big controversies from this week. I guess the big one is about the Admiral. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to get to Admiral.
There is one controversy, actually. So After Trek, which is like the show that I don't really watch because the host kind of gets on my nerves. It's like he really gets on my nerves. Any one of us could be a better host than that guy. Anyways. On After Trek, I think some spoilers were accidentally leaked by cast members, and people are kind of annoyed about that. There's some controversy about that. So
okay, yeah, let's not talk about those spoilers because I want everyone to go in.
Yeah, I don't want to. But that's kind of a shame that would even happen.
I'm extremely happy that I don't watch the show. So,
well, now I am
because everything's trying to be like The Walking Dead or The Talking Dead, and Game of Thrones got one I don't watch. This got one I don't watch. Just do your own thing.
Stranger Things has one.
Stranger Things put one on Netflix. Or not
like
binge
on
watch,
Netflix.
Talking about it. No, we don't need that. We don't need that.
Man.
I'm sure people like to see the little kids because they got little weird things about those little kids now, but we don't need that. Just watch the show. Watch the show,
seriously.
people.
Seriously.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, they should leave like after shows to like stuff like this, like fans and fan theory. But I guess it's just a way for them to keep talking about it. But I like
one of my problems with Thrones is there were sometimes in Thrones where they were talking about scenes that were really important scenes, and you're like, rather hour show where you're like talking about this scene that got cut. Why don't you just give me the scene?
Yeah. Right. See, Talking Dead works because America is kind of fragile sometimes. We expect the good guys to live. So I thought it was also covering their butts a little bit. Be like, look, people, this person's alive. Don't kill yourselves. Kids, it's all right if you're watching this when you shouldn't. Like, I feel like that was a little coming down moment for people. Some therapy for them real quick. Anything else, you don't really need it. Even Game of Thrones don't really kill anybody anymore. You fine.
Yeah. If you made it this far and you're a main character, you're probably going to make it to the end. Or
really close.
Really close.
Anyway, so let's get into the episode. The episode starts off with a nice little battle. Like, I really thought it was pretty cool. You know, we saw another starship because up to this point, with the exception of maybe the first 2 episodes, we haven't seen any of the starships.
It was super cool. It also showed the stakes of the war and like that lots of people are dying. Like that was 3 ships that went down in a single day.
Yeah, it was 462 people according to the numbers that we got.
And it showed me. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
And it showed me. So my whole history watching Star Trek, I always wondered like, how does the Federation defend? Because like there wasn't really any detection stuff that we knew about until like Data in Next Generation with the tachyon burst or whatever he did. There, and I was like, how does the Federation defend against like 2/3 of their enemies, their major enemies, can cloak their ships at will and just reappear? Like, what's the? And also they signed treaties that they will never develop technology like this. So like, how do you
bunch of morons?
Yeah, like this doesn't make any sense.
Dummies.
And so I like that they showed like, no, it is a major big deal. Like because the other Star Trek shows have shown it as an annoyance of anything. You know what I mean? Besides perfect cloaked.
Other than Undiscovered Country.
The perfect cloak thing that they never went back to after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Undiscovered Country definitely showed how bad it could be.
Right. But that was even with a perfect cloak with maybe the fire out of while they're cloaked. And you're like, well, all right, like at what point do you either have a detection system or you come up with a countermeasure, something. So I like how they actually showed this was in the war. This was a major advantage, and I like how they didn't save the other ship. Like,
yes, that was important.
Yeah,
I believe
too.
It was very important. It was very important. So we see loss.
First Federation ship to go down since like Deep Space Nine era.
Yeah. And it showed loss, and it showed the weight of the war. Like we need to win, or we need to figure this out. So like because if you save the ship, you can lollygag some more. But now you needed more of a reason to make your mission work. And it really looked really cool. Lorca, giving commands like, hey, like catch the bullet. Like I thought that was kind of dumb. Because again, Discovery's not an actual Starfleet ship; it's a science vessel. So I don't know what your shields will look like, or your
There were 2 things. There were 2 things I thought was interesting about Lorca giving commands, because like when he's giving commands, you can tell why he is a captain and one of the best captains.
Yes,
but you could also tell that he was frustrated that Saru and Michael weren't on the bridge. It's like a sense of like, especially like the navigator and some other people.
He was like today, Mr. So-and-so.
I don't have my A team today, and I need my A team.
Yeah, like you like I got the B team, but somebody on the B team, or Weshikun, whatever her name is, like the little African star. I'm like, that kind of tripped me out. I'm like, look at diversity, like this is crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool, and I also like that they didn't try to like cover up her accent or try to give her some, exaggerated African accent. It was pretty nice. It was really cool. So I like that. I like that moment. Save the ship. They decide to jump out. And so we go to engineering and we see Stamets, like in the jump chamber or whatever. And he, after the jump, he kind of was out of it. And he looked at Tilly and he said to her, "What are you doing here, Captain?" And Tilly's like, me? You just call me Captain? I mean, hey, what's up? And he snaps out of it and gets right back into Stamets mode. And it's like, hey, what are you doing here? Like the mean Stamets, because the last 2 episodes we've seen a different Stamets. Now we're back to seeing Stamets from episode 2, episode 3. And so it's like, okay, we're back. He's back or whatever. And we move from there. And we find out that, he sent his A team, Saru, Ash, and Michael to
Pahvo.
Can
we talk about the engineer guy real quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that brought me back to Patrick's original theory about the mirror verse kind of thing. I wonder if she's captain in the mirror universe. You know what I mean? And I wonder if he's switching personalities, not necessarily the beings. He's switching personalities with his alter self. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe they got mixed up somehow.
I wonder if it's more of a time thing, because it seems a little weird that Tilly would be already a captain in the mirror universe, but like if he jumped forward in time or something like that, she could even be the captain of the Discovery itself or something in the future. Who knows? So
yeah, like he's able to experience time in the same place at weird.
Oh, you're right. That
Like,
kind
it
of makes
looked
more
like
sense because he said he was out of sync with time when
yes,
Mud was doing his thing. Oh, okay, yeah. All
and
right.
I guess that makes that episode like super important because now you see residual effects going forward with him. So he's out of it, and then the team is on Pahvo.
By the way,
Michael,
side note on that, and we might get to this later, but I thought it was really, it's only a moment, but I thought it was really sweet to see Tilly reaching out to him later rather than just like passing it by. I thought that was a nice little character growth for
Yeah,
both of them in a lot of ways.
because
yeah,
originally in the first episode she would have ran away scared or like, oh, okay, da, da,
yeah,
da. But now he
it
threw up his
shows.
defenses and she was like, okay, you threw your
Oh
defenses.
yeah, it's like
All right,
okay.
now now what's going on?
Yeah, it shows like her progress of what she's been learning from Michael. So Michael is not that bad, right?
Um, are you? I don't think Michael's bad. I think she's a Mary Sue. I don't think she's bad. And
wait, she graduated from Twink to Mary Sue?
yeah, people are just loving her. And I don't know.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
What do you mean? Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so we find out, from Michael's what's it called, private logs or whatever, that this mission to Pahvo is to find is to harness the transmission from sounds they're sending out to to try to get a sonar so that it could act so they could detect what's it called,
the Klingons.
Klingons
cloak ships.
yes, the Klingons cloak ships, and
Which we know
so
can't happen, right? Because they never.
Well,
Yeah.
but see, I was like, oh, this makes another sense. Why the Federation doesn't care about cloak? Because maybe they have this secret planet, the Section 31, whoever knows about. All right, hey, you know what, guys? You're making this more and more sense to me as it goes on. And it was like, oh, never mind. I know your fate. Go ahead.
And what was really cool about this this mission is we get to actually get more personal with, say, SARU, Michael, and Ash. Especially with SARU, we find out that he is the gazelle of his race, pretty much. Like they're built. Senses are like overhyped or super sensitive. They can run really fast. I think she said 80 kilometers per hour. Like they can reach speeds, which translates to about 50
miles per hour.
Yeah, 50 miles per hour.
I think it's really cool because normally when we see kind of the physically adept race in sci-fi, in any kind of sci-fi, they're always also like the fighter, warrior, brute race. So getting like this physically adept race that's not tuned in that way, I can't think of anybody else in sci-fi that is like that. Any other race in sci-fi that's like that?
No, every race, even if they're a pacifist now, they're
they used to be fighters.
They used to be fighters or a reformed shaman that used to be whatever. So even in Farscape, Star Wars, almost anything. So yeah, I think that's really cool. But we were saying that it made, before the show, we were talking about how it made perfect sense why he should be fast if he's prey. Why a gazelle or a bull or a cow, strong. If they hit a wolf in the right way, they're gonna kill the wolf. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, it makes perfect sense. I just think it's interesting. We've never explored that before, so it's kind of cool to see that.
Patrick, do you remember when we were younger? And
not really.
No, listen. So Saru is a really passive, really passive guy. Patrick, for y'all guys that don't know, Patrick is a great guy. Very, very, hey, let's everybody have an opinion. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. No, not overly aggressive at all. And sometimes you forget how tall Patrick is. So unless you see him with a sword in his hand, you forget how quick and how much reach Patrick has. But we were going into a market parking lot one day, and this guy like cut us off or did something really weird to get into the parking lot and started like cussing us out and cussing Patrick out. And so Patrick was like, oh, let me explain this guy. I didn't mean to cut him off or whatever he thinks I did. And so we get out the car. The guy looks at Patrick at his full stand-up height. Get out this low little car. The guy looks at Patrick and runs back into his car. Shuts up. Gets back into his car. And whatever he had to do wasn't that important because he drove the hell off. pretty sure if you listen quietly, you can still hear them tires screech. Like, so,
Oh man!
Wow, that's intense. I mean, it's not even intense. It's like, wow, that's funny.
yeah. So I think it's
Patrick
like I was thinking about that when Michael caught that that kick to the chest. She was like, all this time I've been bullying you, but hold on a second.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
In this episode, we get Klingons. And it is fun. The Klingon story in this episode, to me, this is one of the better Klingon stories in this show. So apparently, Cole, what we find out early in the episode is that Cole has been, giving cloaking technology to any of the houses that would swear fealty to him. So Laurel comes in and says, "Hey, Cole, like I got something I could do for you. I want to swear fealty to you because I don't really have anyone anymore." So, and Cole is like, "You have nothing to give me. You have nothing to offer. It's not like you're from a great house. It's not, you were formerly a disciple of Takuvma and Vogue banished or whatever. So Takuvma is dead. Vogue has been banished. So now you got nothing." And she's like, I'm a great what is it?
She's from a great
interrogator,
house. Great interrogator.
Her family's
a great
family of spies and interrogators. They're intelligence.
And she says something. She says something that.
What do you think of that scar?
I thought it was pretty cool.
It threw me out of her mask some. Like, I don't know. It didn't look like a real burn scar to me.
Okay.
Okay. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it looked really intense, and it kind of separates her now more than ever from all the Klingons.
And I think that was the purpose.
Yeah. Because when we get into her story this episode, I think you see why. Then she says something to me that kind of reminded me of another character from another show. She goes, "My little spies have told me you have someone in your possession," and I was like, you know who that sounds like? That sounds like either Littlefinger or Varys from Game of Thrones. It's like, my little birds have told me. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So she's like the Varys character or Littlefinger in this on the show.
She could be. We need to see more of that if that's the case, though. I feel like we haven't really.
And I feel like we're never really going to get to because of the way this episode ended.
Okay, because I feel like we haven't seen her deftness in knowing information and controlling things. Like, we haven't really. Now,
when we get to the end of the episode, I have a theory about it. When we might get to see it. So she says, let me interrogate what's her name, Cornwall, for you and get you all this information. And she does. And Volk is like, Cole is like, if you can get me something from her, then why not? You can whatever you want, you can have. So she comes on, goes into the jail cell or whatever to go talk to the admiral, and she's like, "Hey, look, scream." She has all these torture devices, and I'm like, this is going to be painful.
I know. I hate torture scenes. I'm like, oh, no.
They're my favorite sci-fi
be like
scenes.
Syriana all over again. Sorry, go on.
No, I love torture scenes. Four Lights, Inception in Real Time for Babylon 5. Oh, man, give me a good torture scene.
I hate torture scenes. Wait, have you ever watched I don't know what it says about you, Anthony, that you like torture scenes.
Like, seriously.
Oh, I like the
torture scenes in BSG or Battlestar Galactica are pretty, intense also.
You wouldn't hold out too long.
That depends what they threatened. It depends what they threatened, what they took.
all right.
Like Theon Greyjoy, once you cut that off, you can do whatever you want. You ain't getting nothing now.
So before, if that's what they threaten you with, you're like singing like a bird, huh?
Oh, before, yeah, whatever you want,
like a little girl.
Yeah. But once you do it,
it's over. Like,
I'm Reek. Let my hands go. My name's Reek. Just give me your hands. But a good torture scene is Babylon 5, Inception in Real Time, one of the best ever. Go ahead.
I gotta look it up. No, that's fine. And so, Laurel says to Cornwall, "I need you to scream." And Cornwall's like, "What? No, you're not gonna get that out of me. I'm a fucking admiral. Like, if anything, you're gonna have to make me scream." And eventually, it happens. Cornwall screams.
She roars. She battle roars.
Yeah,
I respected her after that.
Right. When she was like, "Ah," I was like, "Yes."
I was
She was
also
like,
thought it was
"Ah,
interesting
it
because
was-
you have somebody torturing her, but she's a psychologist. So I was curious to see. I mean, it didn't really go that way, but I thought that would be interesting
Yeah,
because
if
she
it
would kind of
did.
know the tricks and games that would be played, right?
Yes,
I think
it
the
would have been. It
mental
would have been
stuff.
cool if they let it. Yeah,
I think the mental stuff would be fine. I mean, everybody has a breaking point, but the psychological torture of
physically.
like friend
Yeah.
and all that stuff, it's weird. Now, if you could take yourself out of the mind state, which I don't know a lot of people that can, that's anyway. I'm just saying, yeah, I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to it. Go ahead.
I mean, there was about 3 things in this episode that I kind of wish happened. The torture scene is kind of one of them. I wanted to see if Go, if Cornwell could hold out. I wanted to see if she could, and that didn't happen. So whatever. Okay, so now we're back on Pavos, and Saru's like, Saru starts to connect with the planet itself. Again, Saru explains to Ash and Michael that, hey, look, I've been bred for fear. Yes, I can run, I could do all these things, but I am also adept. Like, my senses are so adept. Like, I can hear stuff, and the noise of this planet is bothering me. Like, it's so loud here. And Ash and like Michael, like, what are we talking about? And then right as you're talking, the light or the planet itself forms some being and presents itself to them. I thought that was pretty cool, and Saru connects with it. And I thought that Saru connecting with the planet was kind of funny because, again, he's the one complaining about the noise and how he feels about the planet, but he connected with it. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, and I like the way it's going. We move forward from there, and Saru tells them, okay, so I have kind of like set up a kind of language with the planet, and it's like, and the planet is telling me, it's telling me its purpose. Yeah, we're here to promote peace. It's like anywhere there's conflict, like the reason we want to get to know everyone, we want to get to spread, we want to get to solve problems, and that's why we're here. And at this point are like, so let them know that we're here to get their to get our communication array, attached to their sonar. So we attach to their antenna so we can get the sonar going.
It was super cool to hear kind of like Federation rules and how they're going to deal with this. And like the Prime Directive, I guess, doesn't exist yet, but they already have some guidelines and stuff like that they're following. I thought that was really cool. And also that they like held to them. Because I don't know, it felt like they were trying harder to hold to them than they ever do in like Next Generation and stuff. They're like,
and there were levels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and there were levels. They had a plan for each step.
Yes.
Right, because usually they're like, oh, you can't break the Prime Directive. Oh, the Prime Directive is already broken. It doesn't matter now.
Because it's like,
so true.
It's like, yeah, because the first thing was, I think you can't, if they're sentient, if they're sentient, we can't communicate with them without letting them know who we are.
Can't let them know.
And with Saru connecting, with Saru connecting with them and just breaking that one rule, it's like, okay, so we've broken that rule. Now we can't get their help or get their, get that antenna without,
their permission.
Without their permission. So it's like, okay, we broke the one, but we got something else. So there's levels, and I like that. Now we're back on the Klingon ship, and it's like, and Laurel is now talking, like she's talking to Cornwell. She's like, look, I need to talk to you. What is going to happen if what happens to your prisoners of war? And hey, CJ, what's going on?
Yo, what's up?
Okay.
Hi, CJ.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey,
okay. Laurel says to Cornwell, hey, what's gonna happen?
Whoa! Everyone's using their camera today. Everybody's using their camera. Sorry,
it's a special day today. Laurel.
I didn't even know what CJ looked like until this moment.
Laurel says to
I thought he was just an old white dude.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I wish I was white. That would be awesome.
Right? White for a day. Just basta.
Just
I have
rob
to
places.
turn off my camera now.
Rob places, possible shooting up places and don't get in trouble. Amazing.
Okay.
Say hi to cops.
Didn't you say hi to a cop last week? Did you tell me you were on a live show last week? Like, Hey, sir, I'm on a live show. You want to be on?
Be a dirtbag in Starfleet and not get in trouble. It's awesome.
Right? Break
Michael.
all the rules. Nobody sentenced you. In fact, they promote you.
All right.
Oh, that's funny. Anyway, so Laurel said, look, we're going to continue. Laurel says to, Laurel asks Admiral Conroy, she's like, so what's going to happen? What happens to your POWs? And so Starfleet is so sweet. Like, if I was ever a POW, I would want to be captured by Starfleet. Seriously. They're like, oh, well, we don't, we keep you, we interrogate you safely, nobody gets hurt. And then at the end of the day, humanely, we return.
I was waiting for the Klingon to point out that key factor in that sentence. Humanely.
And Laurel is like,
very racist.
And did you see Laurel's face or Laurel's eyes when she said humanely? Like, and she's like, you don't execute people? She's like, no, we don't. Like,
no, what are you talking about? We execute? What are you talking about, man?
And I think
that translator, universal translator, transformed that humanely into Klingon.
You're right. Oh no, they eat people. You don't want to be Klingon. See, in the hierarchy of jails, you want to go to Ferengi, then you want to go to Federation, then probably Vulcan. That's probably my list.
Okay.
Because Ferengi, you can buy yourself out of jail. They don't even have real jail. they just take your stuff. It's like, I'm from Starfleet. We don't have money here. Take my
Oh, man. And this is where I think Laurel is gonna be. Okay, so when I said we're gonna probably see Laurel become that little bird or that little finger or that Varys type character is right here. I think she's going to be able to be, if she does defect effectively, I think she's going to have ears inside of the Klingon Empire. What do you think?
So you're saying, because I am not clear on what's going on. I'll tell you, I don't really know what her plan is, but you think she's trying to defect so that she's on the other side so that she can spy. She's trying to be a double agent.
I think she's going to be. She's going to be like, this is what I can offer you.
See, they didn't really translate that well, and I imagine that's going to come out later on. So just so I'm clear, she is the female Klingon that was with the albino, right?
Correct. Yes. Or she could be trying to get to Discovery because her boyfriend.
And that also raped Ash.
Right. Well, quote unquote raped Ash because
after this episode, the way Ash talked about that prison, we know what happened.
Yeah. So, but if Ash is the albino, because she was like, he went away. First, we call BS if Ash is that albino. There's no way that albino learned all this Earth culture this fast. But
I agree.
But said it went away. Yeah, I don't get the overall plan. Do you think the admiral's really dead? Is the admiral really dead? Do you think?
We're gonna get to it. You just
no.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, so SARU's established full contact, or he's establishing contact with the Pahvins or whatever Pahvins. That's what they call them now. And Pahvins.
Oh, Pahvins.
Yeah, Pahvins. Anyway, so while he's doing that, Ash and Michael have a moment and kiss. That's all I have in my notes. Like it was kind of cool. He's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen when the war is done, and it's really cute. This is what's gonna happen after the war is done, and this is what I'm gonna do. And
I thought we were about to get Anthony's wish.
Nah, titties. Anthony wants to see titties.
I just want to know. The mating rituals of Vulcans for science. For science. I think I like how she put it out that hey, I don't have an out after this. Like there is no me going back to jail. So I like that scene. I thought that was cool.
I think there was some debate about that and about what was going on, and I like that she kind of shored that up. That listen, I'm just free till this war is over, and then I go to jail, and this isn't a permanent status for me.
Because you can't really redeem yourself by stopping a war that you actually started. Like,
and she didn't really start.
Oh, no,
I think the war was going to happen regardless.
No,
she just happened to
definitely started the war.
accelerate the process.
She started the war on multiple levels.
Stop making excuses.
Right. Look,
that's privilege.
Even if you wanna say all the other stuff would have happened anyway, she had a choice. She had a chance to stop the war before it began by just stunning that Klingon and bringing him back to the other ship. That's all he had to do. That's all she had to do. Is stun him. She killed him out of vengeance. So she started a war.
Accidentally killed him.
3 times she started the war, not just once. 3 times.
Thrice. Thrice.
All right. Well, Ash, she's like, and Ash is like, I hope this war, like, then we shouldn't even try to do this. We should like sabotage our mission right now and forget it. Because I think he genuinely likes her. Is
that was shady.
Vogue or like what's going on? So
I don't know. I still don't trust Ash.
If he is Vogue, I will lose.
Where is Vogue? Where is he?
Where is Vogue?
That was all really shady because one, he was switching up real quick, like, oh, we should just sabotage this mission then. What?
Yeah,
like because he likes her.
He's known her for like a month, 2 months, something like that. No, you don't.
Yeah, that was shady. I agree.
You don't condemn your whole species, your whole federation.
Yeah. He was ready to basically murder or allow thousands of Starfleet people to die to save her. That's crazy.
Right.
So
that's crazy. That's a problem.
And he talked about his anger towards other Klingons, and after what they did to him, and I'm kind of wondering if that lines up. My only issue with this is going to be, unless there's a learning machine like that,
Matrix style,
right? There's no way you get all these mannerisms down the way he is.
So we're back on Discord now. And Anthony, you alluded to this earlier when Tilly comes up to Stamets and is like, "Hey, look, what happened? What's going on with your attitude? What's the problem?" And to what you said, she's stuck with it. She's like, "No, you are going to tell me what's wrong." He's like, "Well, nothing." And she's sitting down there like, "I know something's up. Tell me about it."
Tilly might be the Ahsoka for me of the show. I did not really like Tilly in the first episode she appeared, but she's growing. She's growing on me. That's all I'm saying. I just mean that like from where she started to where she is now, she's growing on me.
And you can tell that's intentional now. Like probably intentional to be, kind of weak personality, kind of not overly confident. And now she's gonna see her character grow and evolve as the series goes on. I like how they probably planned that. At least that's where I think it's going.
Also, I think so. If Michael has no future, like if Michael's just going to jail, there's kind of this ability for Michael's legacy to live on in Tilly. If Tilly goes on to be captain and that kind of thing, and Michael kind of trained her and taught her up, right?
Yeah. So Stamets.
You think Spock writes her?
No, he probably hates her.
No, I think Spock not like her.
He probably doesn't like her right now. She started the war, according to you guys. I mean, but
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I don't think Spock. If Spock might be, if this is 10 years earlier, at this point he might just be indifferent to her.
Ambivalent, like
yeah, because he's at the beginning of original series. He's like, even though he's half Vulcan, he's like full Vulcan, and that's kind of his journey is kind of learning his human side.
He overcompensates because it's like a mixed kid who speaks one culture or language. Yeah, they overdo it to the point where, or they can overdo it to the point where like it's like, all right, man, calm down. like no, like, you got all right, man. Yeah, we know it's cool. It's cool. Just chill.
So I bet he's pretty indifferent to her right now.
Probably. So Stamets admits to Tilly, "Hey, look, I'm experiencing like a phase or something. Like I don't know, I'm experiencing time differently. At one point I could be somewhere else, and then at another point I could be back here." And he explains that to her, and she's like, "Haven't you told your boo?" And she's like, "If I tell my boo, I'm gonna put him in a precarious position where he's either going to have to be port, and then I'm going to go somewhere, to a science facility and be poked and prodded, or, I'm going to be, or he doesn't report, and then, when they find out it's his job, he loses his license or whatever, his career. I can't put him in that position. That's my boo or whatever." And, she's like, "Whatever, I'm here if you need to talk, or if let's just hope, I'll be here and let's hope it passes. And he's like, sure, let's hope it passes.
That-
Boom, we're done with this.
That didn't really make sense.
No, it does make sense. I liked it because it both explains why Stamets is acting the way he is, doing what he's doing, and also because we didn't really have it reinforced yet that the whole thing about human genetic modification was a thing. Like, we know it is because of Khan and like that backstory, but it hasn't been talked about on Discovery. So it's kind of like a reminder of like, no. Like, the moment he injected himself with that DNA, he crossed a big no-no line in the world of Starfleet.
So they did allude to it because when he injected himself, they was like, "Oh, that's modification. You can't do that." And we get that it's a taboo. Like, it's one of the few human taboos in that culture. You know what I mean? Science-based like research. They're like, "No, you cannot do this," because of what happened to him. Like, it seems like a cultural trauma among humans. So yeah, that all made sense, but he can't go before Starfleet and be like, I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know your lover had 2 implants in his arm? What do you think those were? Like there's no, you know what I mean? If this comes to light, which now we know that the rest of Starfleet doesn't know that they're doing this genetic modification stuff, I guess they still assume they have the bear, but it doesn't make sense.
I think he knows I think he knows, but he doesn't want to bring him in any deeper as an accomplice.
Yes, that's what it is.
It's the next step to like be an accomplice in that.
I kind of feel like anybody on that ship at this point is an accomplice already. If you know about this and you don't report it, you know what I mean?
That might come up later.
But I get what you're saying. Like, it's like you're already in deep. I don't want to put you any deeper. And if I talk about how I'm having a weird personality and you don't report that,
oh yeah, at that point you have to report it. Yeah,
if you're having weird,
because at that point, at the point where personalities, you have to report it
because that's what they're really scared of. Is because they don't want people to have those psychotic issues. Like
because Khan's crazy,
right?
He's crazy,
right?
And one of the things that saved Bashir was he's proven that he's, one of the rare mentally fit people to serve. So
right.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, and so I already talked about L'Rell wanting to defect to Discovery, and that's my theory on L'Rell. Is again, I'll say it again. She's going to defect, or if she does fully defect, because it might happen that she does defect, and if she does fully defect, I believe she's going to say again, she is a super spy, or she is a really good snake. She'll say, "Look, I can offer you this." She might be a double agent for the Klingons, feeding them information. To this, like, that's again, it could work either way, but it's something.
Do we know who had cloaking technology first, the Klingons or the Romulans?
Right now, it's the Klingons.
Oh, so Klingons have it in Enterprise. I'm only first season into Enterprise, and the Klingons already have it.
Yeah, the Klingons have it in Enterprise.
Do Romulans show up having it in Enterprise?
I can't remember, but there's this.
Not that I remember.
There's this thing in the original Star Trek where they talk about how Klingons and Romulans started trading with each other, and they switched ships a lot. And I'm sure it was a budget thing in the original one, but they explained it by saying that that they started this trade thing going back and forth. And I just can't remember who had.
So maybe that's what happens. Maybe Romulans don't have it yet. When does the Romulan Vulcan split happen?
Oh, like thousands of years before this, but.
Okay.
But there's a war that starts that they don't really talk about very much. We don't know much about. We knew there was a war, but it was such that they would destroy any ship before the humans or before the Federation caught anybody, so they never knew what they looked like. But I was wondering because there's a big history of Romulans interfering in Klingon politics and Klingon stuff. So I was wondering. Only reason I was
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Maybe Romulans were involved in this technology at some point because no other Klingons have it, and this clan doesn't seem particularly technologically concerned with research.
Advanced.
So that's what I was wondering.
So I mean, they haven't really explained it yet, but from what I know from Enterprise, it's only Klingons. I mean, that's from my Enterprise memory, or from my Enterprise knowledge bank.
Do Romulans show up in Enterprise at all?
That I have to check back up on because I'm not really sure. I know for a fact it's a lot of Klingons.
Yeah. One episode, one of their minds show up, and it was really, and they thought they didn't know whose it was, but like if you were a fan of the Star Trek canon, you knew it was Romulans, and they were like, "Who mines a sector of space no one's at?" And it was
got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense. So Saru's, finished talking to the whatever. He's finished communicating to the Pavans, and he comes out and he tells Ash and Michael, hey, look, man, look, these people are awesome. This is what they're about. And he's like, I am a little exhausted talking to them. Again, it's not because it's tiring to talk to them. It's just because it's kind of disorienting. Again, his senses are so sharpened and so adept that any little noise or any little, just disorients him. And he says, okay, let's retire to sleep. And they go to sleep. He can't sleep, obviously, because of the noise. And he wakes up and he goes over to beg. He's like, hey, look, man, can you just help me out for a second? Just turn this off so I can sleep. Like, I'm just like, it's like someone watching TV really loud, I guess, at night, and you're like, look, man, just turn the volume down. You don't gotta turn it off. Just turn it down so I can sleep. And literally, they come in or they connect with him on another level, and this is why we're here. My name is Saru. This is why I'm here. I've been bred by, I've been brought up by, in this race. And he pretty much tells his life story and tells them what he needs from them. And the next morning, we see Saru, a little different. And he's like, hey, oh, Anthony left, I guess. And we see Saru a little different. And Saru's like, oh, he's back. Okay. Saru comes in a little different. And he's like, hey, guys, he's feeling really different. And Michael and Ash notice it. And they ask him, what's up? Saru's like, yeah, I talked to Discovery. Everything's fine. We'll go on with our mission whenever, and he crushes their communicator. And it's like, we don't need these anymore. And so they finally discover and, like, hey, something's up.
Who did not see that coming, by the way? I mean, granted, Saru's pretty, like, I guess it makes sense they didn't see it coming, but I would
have handed it to him too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Up to this point, Saru's always been the mild mannered. I
might have asked a few questions before I handed it over. I'm like, here you go.
And he's like, yeah, I'd like to see you come. Whoa, he's strong. This episode he's strong. Like, Saru is a monster.
Did that though. I had to shut the hell out of him. Susie went like, oh,
with a phaser to stun him, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Stun him.
Right? You're stunning Saru, not killing him, right?
Nope. And then I'm gonna blame Michael. The black woman did it. Criminal. Just hated him. She always hated him.
Hello? Everybody there?
Everybody went blank.
I'm here.
They did not hear my Michael. They didn't
know how to handle that.
No. I think
that's a trapment, Brand. That's a trapment, yes. Anthony.
I think Google censored you on purpose. Like, they're like, no, we don't want this. This is not going anywhere. Censor.
It's a trapment.
Anyway, so Saru seems a little bit altered, and he has said, forget the mission. We're going to stay here forever. And this is the funniest part of the episode. This is where I thought was really funny, because Michael and Ash are now arguing about what to do. And this is why you can't date someone you work with, or you can't date your boss, because technically,
you hear that, Anthony? No dating people you work with.
Because
I've never broken that. Never broken that. Never broken that. I'm a mute.
So during the argument, this is the funniest part about it. During the argument, Ash pulls rank. He's like, "Look, I rank you, so what I say goes." And I thought that was kind of messed up, because you shouldn't really do that to your girl. Like, you should listen to her, hear what she has to talk about. Anyway, he's like, look, we got a plan. We're going to enact the plan. Boom. And so now Laurel and Cornwell, we're back on the Klingon ship. Laurel and Cornwell are planning this escape. They're moving through the ship. And it's like, Cornwell is like,
I'm glad they get caught. Hey, because they were being
Because you didn't want it to be too easy?
No, because they were being dumb. They deserve to get caught. They're being dumb. They're just like out in the open, just walking. There was no plan.
And Laurel is like, yeah, I'm going to overload this drive and blow the ship up, blah, blah, blah. And Cornwell's like, are you sure it's going to work? Laurel's like, yes, maybe, something. And as soon as all this happens, Cole comes in and is like, hey, look, what is going on? And they have to like fake this fight. Maybe not. And Laurel maybe kills Cornwell.
That plan didn't make any sense at all. Like, what are we doing? We're going to overload the ship. He's desecrated this ship. I don't care if he desecrated your ship. Get
out of here. Like, I don't really care about your ship.
And what if she says you're not what I expected or something like that, and then she kills her?
Yeah, it's like, oh, what do you do with that prisoner? All right, she's throw your weapon to her. Let she escape. Like, no, yeah.
Like a fight.
I was like, say, so Klingons are stupid now?
I was like, yeah, seriously. Luke and Han
Cornwell can fight.
Right.
Cornwell can fight. And I was impressed. But, she, of course, we finally, maybe for Anthony, but we finally saw, the Klingons, like, not be so easily taken down. Right?
Even original Star Trek, that wavers back and forth. Like, you hear, like, Klingons are naturally, like, twice as strong as us or whatever, and redundant organs and all, and bone structures better than us. But then you'll see the
organs.
You'll see Deep Space Nine crew whoop handfuls of Klingons at a time.
Well, but I thought that was established that Cisco is just a badass.
Yeah, well, true, because so let's see, Cisco and Kira. Oh, and Dax. Never mind. You're right, because O'Brien gets beat up.
I thought it was established that they're a bunch of badasses compared to that flaky TNG crew that,
flaky TNG crew.
You learn. So on TNG, Worf is a badass, and then you learn on DS9 that Worf is like nothing compared to a normal Klingon. That Worf is like the pushover of Klingons.
Worf again is that mixed kid that had to learn how to really, really fight. Like, he had to go train. Like, that's why Worf's training all the time, because he's not a true Klingon. So you don't want to get into a fight with him. He's got too much to prove. But compared to regular Klingons ready to die. So
true. So New Saru, I call him New Saru. New Saru finds out that Ash and Michael are trying to play him, and he destroys Ash. I don't even know how. They didn't really show him an Ash fight, which was cool because they saved that fight, and we finally got to see Saru's speed. He was running again. It was CGI, it was CG, but it looked really good. I liked it.
It looked okay. It looked okay.
I like how they set it.
Really good.
I like how they set it up. They were like, "It's gonna take us a day to get there," and he was like, "If it wasn't for you, I'd be there in 15 minutes." It's like, oh.
And so him taking off like boom. So he finds Michael, and it wasn't good for her. Like, he kicked the shit out of her in her chest.
That's a stroke against twinkiness. She got knocked out.
She got destroyed.
He's a super strong alien who whooped their security officer. who, if we believe so, took on 6 Klingons or whatever. Like,
she got put down, Anthony.
She held the super strong alien.
But if she was a twink, if she was a true twink, she would have handled the situation and defeated him.
She did beat him.
Not really.
No, she didn't. She never beat him.
Yeah.
She tasted him twice.
She got a single punch or anything.
She never got the objective. She outwitted and outsmarted the soup and outfought
by minutes. No, she didn't.
Yeah.
Because I think you're mixing it up, because if you're gonna say, at the point, she had him at gunpoint, but that's about it. But he was about to get right back up and smash the communications array again until.
I'm not saying if you put them both in a room with nothing in it, she's not gonna get beat up. I'm saying that in that fight, who came out the victor? She came out the victor because she was able to do what she needed to do.
Oh, you mean he smacked her?
But if she had left like 10 minutes later, she would not have been the victor.
No, but that twinkiness. No, but look, being a twink doesn't mean you can't ever lose a fist fight. Like, it's not like if you're a twink.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. All right. Not get into this. It's gonna be a long conversation. All right.
Cool. Anyway, so somehow she manages to convince the Pahvans that look, we need to send the communications to our ship. We need to get out of here because we need to win this war. Because if we don't, the Klingons are gonna find you and they're gonna destroy you. And Saru's like, no, if you do, the Klingons are gonna find you and they're gonna destroy you. And the Pahvans are like, okay, you know what? Because again, it looked like I think this is where, because in my mind, I thought when I was watching, I thought, okay, they'd altered Saru, but it started looking a different way because he's begging, he's trying to protect them, so he's not under Pahvan influence per se at this point. But it still was unclear to me at this point.
He pretty much did what Michael did
in episode 2 or 1, where it's like, I'm trying to protect you.
Yeah, so he pretty much betrayed the Federation. Like, he betrayed his rank and his people to do what he thought was overall best for a society he was trying to protect.
And I thought that was why they were doing that, to create some sense of empathy between him and her, because he is basically replaying some of her sins over again.
Right, which is great.
And
I wonder if they'll bring it up.
She's stuck. I think the reason that she she follows protocol so clearly is she already has this black mar on her for not following protocol. That makes it that much harder for her to ever break protocol.
And it's really just the Klingons where she was acting irrational. You know what I mean? It's a source of trauma she apparently hasn't dealt with. Repressing trauma is not the best way to deal with trauma. Imagine Vulcan psychology is not a great great practice. Hey, I was thinking to feel just tuck them down. You got two hearts, right? So if you have a heart attack, you're fine. So
you have feelings. That's a problem.
Yeah, right. Just repress all that. So I don't know. And his same trauma, he's been traumatized his whole life because he's been taught everything wants to kill you and everything wants to eat you, which is probably true. So
including Anthony.
Yes. Oh, I was looking for an excuse. Just shoot him, eat him. Yeah, we'll stay on this planet forever. The rest of your life.
Your short life. So Laurel says to Cole, hey, I'm going to dispose of Cornwell's body. And so she takes, Cornwell to this room, and she finds that Cole has not, he hasn't, Cole's way in what everyone thinks is Cole has just been trying to unite the houses to rule the houses. But it looks like he's killed every every ruler of a house.
Is that what's going on? I was really confused. I was like, I don't know these people. Who are these people? If you looked at either that or the old crew member of the old crew of the ship. Takuma's crew.
It's
probably the leaders. You're probably right. I didn't know.
He said it in a weird way.
I'm like, I don't know who these people are, or she is.
If that's what he did, he said it in a really weird way. Like, I'm not doing this to unite the Empire. I'm doing this to unite everybody under me.
Yes.
Okay.
So it could, if you're trying to tell those people that this is what you're doing and they're not trying to hear you, so I guess you can kill them, because I don't know. It could be either or, but I'll probably look at the episode again to correct myself maybe next week. But
it was weird the way they did it though, because why, if you knew she was a traitor, why let her dispose of the body? Why do the face paint thing? Like just be like, oh, you think I didn't see through your tricks? Like, wait,
yeah,
just a cool dude. He's just cool. Like some shit like that's some shit that Ramsay Bolton would do. Remember when he I
just didn't get it.
Escape just to.
I get Ramsay. But I didn't understand. I didn't understand what was going on there. It was just, I just didn't understand.
It's just his pride, or
he was just messing with her.
It's trying to shit. I'm smarter than you. That you think you're the super smart super spy, but I am smarter than you. So maybe that's what it was.
And then he shoots her, right?
No. He
take her away.
Yeah.
He takes her away. That's right.
That's right. And so. Saru's finally free of fear, and that's what altered him. So we find out later, Discovery's here, and they've transported team Pahvo back to the ship, and it's like you can see Saru just like down on himself, like what and so Michael walks up to him and talks to him, and she's like, look, and he's like, look, man, for the first time in my life, we don't know how old he is, but for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of anything. Like, I've been bred to run away all my life. I've been bred to be scared of everything. And for the first time ever, I had peace of mind. Now you can see, I totally, and because she was like, it's okay, you were under the influences. And he's like, no, I wasn't. This was all me. This is so, I can imagine what that kind of peace of mind can feel like to anyone that can make you go crazy. Like, but you know, so back on the Klingon vessel, it's like, hey, look, you know, Cola's, they pick up a signal in space, and it's like, what signal is this? You know, something just sent us a signal. Apparently, Pahvo has sent a signal to the Klingons, like, hey, come through. And Pahvo has one sent to Discovery, like, okay, just chill right here. And Pahvo invited the Klingons. Pahvo not really understanding that the Klingons don't really care about you. They just will destroy you. And so Michael says to, you know, Lorca, this is where the episode ends, like, hey, look, man, we have to stay and fight. We have to save Pahvo. And this is where the episode ends. War's coming. War is coming.
And what's interesting is this episode was supposed to be the last one before the break, and then they decided to do one more episode before the break. I'm glad they did, because I would have been angry if this is how it ended.
That would have been a huge cliffhanger. Like, what the hell?
So what do you think? So Pahvo seems almost like it seems
Avatar?
Well, I was going to say, you know how Star Trek likes to sneak this stuff in. It seems kind of like a social commentary of like, do you remember in Independence Day? There's those people who are like up on top of the tower, like celebrating the aliens coming.
Save us, yes.
Blown to smithereens, right? That's kind of how I see the people of Pahvo. So it's kind of interesting because Star Trek normally is about peacemaking. And now we have this race in Star Trek that's about peacemaking, and it seems to be social commentary kind of against that almost. So that's kind of interesting.
Especially the first two-part episode when the answer was to strike first. That was the answer in a Star Trek shirt, was to fire first.
Right.
So like now you have this peace, and we've had other peace races. I forget who they were, but I think in TNG they had a race that was the whole thing was dedicated to like making peace, being ambassadors of the world. There was one where the guy had 3 different voices or whatever for him. I don't know. I'm really interested because we know that Klingons think peace is a violation of their culture, pretty much. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I do like the perspective of that alien planet. Like, oh, our job is to bring things together. So why don't we just bring y'all together and we'll work out whatever differences there are. I like that perspective. No matter how it turns out for them, I appreciate they put that race in there.
It's a different way of having an alien race kind of out of their depth, if that makes sense.
Right.
We also we also haven't seen any like higher level beings in this one yet, where like we haven't seen the Q or any kind of weird out there you know what I mean, sentient races where like in other Star Treks you always get that this realm of existence is a lower realm and there's other stuff going on.
Well, this race, the Pahvans seem to be somewhere in between. They almost seem like they're in tune with their planet, the way that whatever Odo's race is in tune with each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm wondering where they lie on that thing. Is there a power to back this up, or is there just like, no, our job is to harmonize. We've harmonized our world. You guys come here too. So because they also built that crystal. You know,
because they're like lonely. They want to reach out. It seems like they found peace and perfection on their planet, and now they're like trying to go to the next step.
Yeah, go somewhere else. And also, could the Pahvans be evil in a way where they're going to try to spread their peace and tranquility no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely are cases of that. Right now it seems like they're more like just ignorant and naive, of what's going on. But if
they took them over like a hive mind, I would agree with that. But now it seems like they were just literally just communicating with them.
It would be more interesting if they become that. Like if by the end of all this, the Pahvans take that posture instead. That would be interesting.
Right.
Like you people
anyway, so that
to get peace. Like we're just gonna do this for you.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think of the episode then? What do you guys think of the episode? I mean, we're probably discussing it as we're going, but what do you guys think of it like as a whole?
So First of all, I don't want to actually get too in depth about that until I've seen the second part, because I feel like this is definitely, if this is old Star Trek, it would just say to be continued for sure, right? Because it's clearly part one of something. Be continued. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to.
In those blue letters with a little font.
Oh gosh. You know, when that would happen, you would just be like, I mean, once you had streaming, it was fine, but back in the day, you're like, no. So.
Right.
You'd be like looking at the clock. You'd be like, wait, there's only 10 minutes left. They're not going to resolve this in time.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Anyways,
you know what? I
don't want to judge too harshly this episode yet.
Okay.
But as a standalone episode of like being really the first episode where we go on another planet and walk around on another planet and deal with a new alien life form, I thought it was really solid. Especially coming from last week where I was like, this is a very Trekky feeling episode, but I have these issues. I had like no issues with this episode. Like I really felt like it was Star Trek as we know and love, and it brought forth some unique things, and we got to see like 3 characters. Like it is very common in Star Trek for us to just have 3 characters go do a thing and focus on them for the whole episode, and that's kind of what we got here. So no, I liked it. I liked it as our first away team episode, I guess you could say. I don't really count the one where we went and found the
bear.
The water bear, the tardigrade. I mean, that was also an away team episode, but we were almost still in setup at that time.
Okay. Anthony, what do you think about it?
I liked it. I mean, this is everything but random red shirts to die, and because it's a harmonious planet, there's no really to kill. So I liked it.
Except your boy, though.
Yeah. I mean, I like the new aspect, the different aspect on him. I kind of want to get away. I know they're trying to do the Ash Michael thing, especially if he's an albino Klingon. That's going to be a weird thing. But
yeah.
But I'd rather a different. If this isn't set up for him being something else, we already had the Ash Michael centric episodes. I'd like another crew member to be down there so we can get to know them.
So you know how when John and Danny get together and you're like, you guys are like niece and like niece and aunt, or nephew and aunt right now, right? And like emotionally, you're like, I can in no way enjoy the scene that's going on right now because that's going on. Well, because there's this like hanging thing out there about what are Ash's real intentions. It doesn't allow us as an audience to like in any way emotionally invest in their relationship. Like so I think we're like missing out, on what could be a more interesting relationship. If we want to have a relationship, if like Michael has to have a relationship, daggone it, on this stupid show, like I would at least like it to be a relationship that I'm allowed to emotionally walk with. And right now I'm not able to because there's this like hanging thing out there of like, I don't know about that Ash.
And it seems really rushed because like
really rushed.
It's not like this is the first time she's been around humans. She's on a ship for 7 years and you're telling me she's never felt anything for anybody.
I mean,
what is Ash?
She did say she's never been in love, so she's
that's some of her character development. But I don't see what Ash brings to the table that's unique. I guess you could say.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so
he's probably the new kid, just like she is.
But this isn't I don't know. He's not isolated. Everybody thinks he's hot. Everybody thinks he's a war hero because he was Chris. Like,
he killed 6 Klingons.
I mean, it is what it is.
That must be weird to be beloved as a war hero when you were getting raped in reality.
Yeah.
And that's probably where they connect because he's like, look, man, everyone looks at me like this, but I feel like this about myself, so I want to isolate myself from everyone. And so the only one that actually...
But he hasn't.
Kind of like...
I mean, that's a really interesting idea, Mo, and it should be explored by writers in the show rather than just left to us to like try and make up.
Because what we've seen is him socialize.
Help this, okay?
But what we've seen him do is socialize with other members. We've seen him jump up on a party platform and make a speech and call people, shout out people. We've seen him pal around with the captain. He's hit on the... there's other people that want to hit on Michael, but he's the one that does that. Like, he's very outgoing. He's not an introvert at all.
Right.
So my whole thing is it seems rushed, and I guess it goes back to the point of if they knew it was gonna be multiple seasons, it would have been played out some more. If he's not an albino Klingon in disguise, Yeah, but anyway, I enjoyed the show. I liked what it was. Again, I think it was a save budget episode, so I'm really curious of what we're gonna get later on.
Yeah.
And
Next
I'm
week
really
looks-
looking for that.
I
Yeah,
am enjoying us getting into the Star Trek groove. Like I am enjoying there just being some good Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, because I mean, we got great bridge shots this episode. We got Lorca, you know, being a captain and stuff like that. We got that, and then we got, you know, the away episode, like get off the ship episode. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. I'm a big fan in first seasons of shows to just establish what is normal for your kind of characters before you start doing crazy stuff. And so this show is kind of in tandem because it was originally this anthology and they were like going to just do the one season. But I am enjoying that we're getting a few episodes. Like I would have loved to have seen a couple of episodes at the beginning, like Jessica Jones, where she was just solving normal mysteries before we got into her meta plot, right?
Seeing how her mind works, that she is a detective. That was really cool.
Exactly. So I am enjoying that we're getting some. They're doing a decent job with these last 2 episodes of giving us normal Star Trek, even though the plot is also moving forward.
And the Discovery was badass to just show up in that fight. They don't really win.
Oh yeah,
see how
that was awesome.
Are.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
And I just
and
imagine
you realize if they had caught the other torpedo, wouldn't they have blown up? Because they were like, after the first torpedo hit, they were below 10%. I think they would have died.
Yeah, he goes, did we get the second one? Get the second one? He's like, oh, sir, 10%.
Yeah, so before this episode, I didn't know if Lorca would do that or not. And so the fact that he was willing to put his ship at risk to save the other ship, that still shows where his overall commitment is. And
I told you.
Told me what?
I told you in the beginning. If we had to serve, you picked a different captain to serve under, and I told you I'm
gonna serve Yeah, I don't know what you're looking for, Captain. Look, that shuttle
I gotta
pilot,
be like
that shuttle
Ash.
pilot that was
Come
delivering Michael is still floating out in space somewhere. Like, so, but and I also think about from the Klingons' perspective of this is like the fourth Hokage type stuff. Like you teleporting in, they're teleporting out. They're like, what the hell just happened? That ship a legend type of stuff. Like, that's pretty cool.
It is really cool. What was really sick about this episode is seeing how you know they teleport in, and as soon as they teleport in, you see that you see the Klingon ship come out of cloak.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, you got your big guns. Oh, we got our big guns. It's like, let's see who wins this.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that I felt like you actually got to see some tactics because it was clear the Klingons thought they had that battle. Then the Discovery shows up and they're like, oh, we got to fight for real. So they start cloaking up again and using real tactics again. So we got to see tactics, which we don't. The only time I can think of we really seen that much in Star Trek is like Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, and I like how. Because I kind of expected him to warp out as soon as they were like, do you have warp engines? He's like, no, warp shot. I was like, oh, well, no matter what we do, we can't save you. Bye. That's what I expected to happen.
That was good. That was good.
So I like to see that part of it. And I like how you see how outnumbered the Federation ships apparently are, how stretched thin they are. And I wonder if it's...
They're science vessels, exploratory vessels.
Right, where the Klingons are different
Why are
types
they letting Enterprise out go just explore? I'd be like, Enterprise, you better get your butt back here.
Right, you're a warship. Come here, or not a warship, but you're more heavily armed than Discovery. And look what Discovery can do. So just bring your butt back. But we just found this new species of fungi. Now, I don't care. I don't care. Pike, come back. So yeah, liked it.
Yeah, so I liked it. I thought it was really strong. Patrick, I'm holding judgment until I see what comes next. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. I liked certain elements of it. I liked seeing SARU go rogue, and I liked seeing him at one point. It wasn't like SARU was. He took the fight to Michael, and he straight up like dogged her. Like it was really fun to see Michael get her ass kicked. Because again, wasn't it the episode before this? No, 2 episodes ago we saw her and Sarek do the Vulcan Kung Fu.
Yeah,
it looked like she could handle. Oh man, I was just waiting for Anthony to come in.
Up. Just keep going. Just sail right by.
So it was kind of a fun way to see her, like, get humbled, because she was humbled really quick. took that kick to the chest and said, "Okay, let me go get my stun gun and stun you." Incredibly strong. Like for prey, he's incredibly strong because I want to see what the predators on his planet look like at this point.
Yeah,
Right?
I
Like,
would worry about it too.
if he took 2 stuns and was going to probably take a third and then go down, what was next?
Right? Didn't Khan take 3 stuns, Patrick? Like
yeah.
But
Khan,
then again,
Khan is like superhuman, super. I mean, Khan is insane.
Yeah.
Because he's not just modified, enhanced, but like he was the strongest of the enhanced humans. Because like all the different enhanced humans take over different countries of the Earth, and then he takes over all of them.
Yeah, so if Khan was enhanced and he could take 3, SARU was not enhanced. SARU was bred to be like, yes. So imagine what the predators species on his planet looks like. Shoot. I don't even want to think about it.
It'll come up. I bet it'll come up eventually.
I hope it comes up. Like
there'll be like a Starfleet officer who is one of those species, and it's gonna come on the bridge, and Star is gonna freak out.
That's what I was wondering before the show started. Is like, I wonder if they're both intelligent species. You know what I mean? Like,
it'd be like
they both developed the same. Yeah, and it was like, oh no, I can't serve with him. I can't serve with him. Like, look at my gangula. The gangula.
It's like, I mean, that's almost like logical racism. Like,
because everything in that other one would be telling him to kill that one and eat him.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything. And hey,
so I was like, I gotta get out of here.
If y'all haven't cast that role for season 2 yet, I would love to play that.
Yo, like as soon as he comes on board Discovery,
he's even got the teeth
ganglia everywhere. It's just ganglia. That would be awesome. Yeah, so I'm excited for episode 9. I want to see what that's like.
Spit him out.
Now Anthony really wants to eat Saru. Like actually eat him. Like on screen. Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, I thought this episode was good. I don't like to judge 2-parters until I've seen the second part too much.
Yeah, it really does look like a 2-parter. So yeah, that's Vis Pacem Bellum. That's the episode, and that is our episode. I think this is where we call it a close.
Well,
Anthony,
one more question. I have one more question.
Oh, shoot.
Just a rapid fire. Where do you think Vok is
on Discovery?
Anthony, where's Vok?
After this conversation, Discovery. Like yeah.
Because why does L'Rell want to go to Discovery so bad?
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She actually said
I was curious.
Discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. She's trying to get to Discovery.
Because she
thinks that's the Admiral's ship, I think.
Yes, she specifically said, "I want to go on your ship," and she's like, "What ship?" She specifically used the words Discovery. So yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
cool.
That's our episode. See Vis Pacem Bellum, and that's all from us. Myself, Patrick, Anthony, and Christopher.
Anthony has a second booking
here.
Yeah,
Anthony got to go. So thank you very much, Anthony, for coming. Anthony, where are you going right now? You're gonna go do draw
for the podcast. We got our weekend recaps where we just talk about stuff we did this weekend and whatever we watched or whatever. And we usually do it drunk, but we're all sick. So, but check us out sometime.
Do it drugged instead.
Yeah, this is true.
Everybody takes some NyQuil.
Yeah, I took some just before I started this one. Mo, thanks for filling in for me last week or the week before last week. Appreciate it.
It was fun. Thank you for having me.
So check it out if y'all want. All right, guys. Peace.
Yeah. Oh, the episode is on our website. So, earth2cc.com. You can check that out on there. Patrick, thank you again every week. See you on Thursday for Rebels.
Rebels, yeah.
Star Wars.
That
Rebels.
should be fun.
Does that start tonight? Rebels come out tonight?
Yes.
No, Rebels came on last night. Bro.
Oh, last night. Yeah, last night. Sorry.
Oh,
wait. It's tonight. Tonight, isn't it?
No, is it Monday or Sunday?
It's Monday.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Today's Monday.
Today's Monday.
Today's Monday. I'm sorry. Yes. No, it came on at 5. It came on at 5, so it's already out.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
It's so yeah, we got 4 episodes to go through for Rebels. That should be fun.
I was wondering if they're
should be fun.
releasing these at times. Maybe they say something that links to Last Jedi. They want to get out before it comes, or they just tired of it.
I think that's what it is, and I will be so hurt because my blackout has been going so well. I don't know anything about
Well, you gonna
Last
learn
Jedi.
today. You gonna learn today.
I will purposefully leave the podcast and let Patrick host it. They're gonna say about it.
And that was
But,
Patrick's whole
thank you.
plan the whole time.
Oh, what?
Oh wow!
No, I'm joking.
So
I can
thank
just
you
let
guys.
Anthony
Thank you
talk
guys.
the whole time. That's what he wants to do, anyways.
Right.
I'll just
Pretty
ask
much.
like 5 questions and let him go.
Thank you guys again very much for coming and doing this with me. I really appreciate everything you guys have done. Again, check Earth 2 out on earth2cc.com. We have content. Our videos go on there and our podcast goes on there also. Thank you, Patrick, again for helping set that up.
Yeah.
So I will catch you again on Thursday for Rebels. And that is the episode.
All right.
Peace.
Bye, guys.